Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now today's video is going to be a bit of a follow-up to a video that I did a couple of weeks ago on Windows XP mode. And if you guys haven't seen that video, I would highly recommend that you go and check it out up in the card so that you'll kind of be up to speed on what it is that we're going to be trying to do here. In that video, just kind of a brief TLDR, what we actually did was we took a look at running Windows XP mode, which was a feature that Microsoft created when they released Windows 7 that basically allowed you to run some of your Windows XP programs through your Windows 7 computer. It was basically a virtual machine, but with some really nice integration features with the host operating system, in this case Windows 7. So what we tried to do was install, well, first of all, we had Windows 7 installed in a virtual machine on my Windows 10 computer, and then we essentially installed a virtual machine inside of that Windows XP mode. I received a lot of comments on that original video saying that you guys wanted me to kind of revisit this and, you know, see if we could install another virtual machine software inside of Windows XP mode here and see if we can install another virtual machine, and then basically keep doing that until that we can't do it anymore. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. This is going to be another one of those fun experiment videos, and we're just going to jump right into it and see if we can actually accomplish this. So right here we have Windows XP mode. You know, it's already set up from that last video. So you can see we have two files on the desktop right here. We have a VirtualBox installation executable file right here, and then we also have a Windows Me ISO image that we can install Windows Me from, or Windows ME, however that you want to say it. And we're gonna basically, my whole idea is kind of trying to go back. So we're in XP mode. We're gonna try to go back one release to Windows Me. Then we're gonna try to go back one release to Windows 98 and then 95 and so on and so forth. But one thing that you're gonna notice that's a little bit different about this icon right here is this is not Oracle VirtualBox. This is Sun VirtualBox by Sun Microsystems back before they were bought by Oracle. And I just kind of wanted to add this in here as a little bit of an extra, you know, fun element to this video. This was actually submitted to me by Mitchell, who actually donated that XP tablet that we took a look at a while ago on this channel, which, by the way, that video is still in the works, that full video. But in the meantime, we're going to be taking a look at a piece of software that he sent me along with that XP tablet, and that is the very last Sun Microsystems branded version of VirtualBox before they were acquired by Oracle, and then Oracle actually changed the name of it to Oracle VM VirtualBox. So that's kind of a little extra thing that we've added here, and then of course we have the Windows Me ISO image. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing that we have to do is actually, we don't have to do anything. We can just access these files from within XP mode here by going into Start and Control Panel, and I want to go to My Computer. And just to be safe, we're going to go ahead and actually copy this file over to the desktop, just so that we have it kind of locally stored on the virtual machine or inside of Windows XP. God, I'm going to be saying the word virtual machine so many times in this video. I'm just going to apologize for that right up front, because that's basically what we're going to be doing, is installing a crap ton of virtual machines. But just to be safe, I wanted to kind of copy this over to the XP mode install locally, because it thinks this is a network drive, which it basically is, and we don't want to have it, you know, create any issues for us. So we have this executable here. Let's go ahead and run it and see if we can actually install this. I assume this won't be an issue, because this version should support Windows XP. So this version was released in September of 2008. So this is definitely a bit of an older version. This is over 10 years old. At least that's what the copyright date says there. So we're going to create a shortcut on the desktop, why not? And we're going to click yes. It's obviously going to install its virtual network driver, which is going to interfere with this machine's ability to connect to the internet very briefly. So we're just going to hit install. And before we go any further, guys, I just want to briefly just give every one of you guys watching this video a huge thank you for the insane amount of support that this channel got last month. I believe that we've gained over 3,000 subscribers in this month alone. This month, hands down, has been the best month that I've experienced in my YouTube career, and I have nobody to thank but all of you guys for watching. So I just want to thank you. It's clear to me that you guys really enjoy this, you know, style of video, this kind of experiment style, because those last two videos that I did on XP mode and the one before that on trying to install Office 3 on Windows 10, did very well, and I want to give you guys more of that. I have a lot more video ideas kind of relating to that topic. You know, fun experiments installing older software on newer versions of operating systems and things like that. So there's a lot that I want to touch on, and of course I only have all of you guys watching to thank for that. And I just want to do that. So thank you to everybody for watching, for viewing, for commenting, subscribing, doing what it is that you guys do best on this channel. So thank you all so much. But let's go ahead and actually see what it says here. So it's okay. So it's coming up with this. It hasn't passed Windows logo testing to verify its compatibility with XP. We're just gonna go ahead and hit continue anyway. And it should skip past that, hopefully, and install it. Looks like it did. Okay, it's saying the same thing again. We'll hit continue anyway. And it looks like it just copied some files. Oh, so these are all of the VirtualBox drivers. So they, Windows XP just isn't liking them for whatever reason. But it looks like we're almost done here. It's installed. It's going to do it again. We'll hit continue anyway. But host on Ethernet adapter. Okay, continue anyway. If there's like a continue all button, which I guess they just didn't want to do that because, you could accidentally install software and hardware that you don't want. But yeah, Sun VirtualBox, you can see that the icon here is now on the desktop, so that's pretty nice. And it looks like that, yeah, we have a new icon for the VirtualBox host-only network. It's currently acquiring a network address. So this is the virtual network that it basically sets up for the VM so that they can actually reach out and connect to the internet. I'm sure that you guys know how all that works, but we're just going to, I'm hoping that this installation, it's like done this like 3 times before. It's gotten all the way to the end here, and it looks like it's about to finish up, and then it goes back to the very beginning, like this, progress bar goes back to the very beginning, and it continues installing stuff. But it has put the icon on the desktop, so that is a good sign. We're just going to wait for it to finish up here. Alright, so this is awesome. Something's copying down here. That's interesting. But the installation has completed. We're going to hit finish and select start Sun VirtualBox after installation. I don't know what it's doing here. This just came up. It's preparing paste information. I literally have no idea. I guess this is a part of the installer, but I'm not sure. And here we go, Sun VirtualBox. Yeah, it's definitely been a while since I've used a Sun branded version of VirtualBox, but it is pretty cool. So this is a copyright 2009 Sun Microsystems. So this might have actually been around the time that I started experimenting with VMs, or at least with VirtualBox. I think I used a version that was from 2008 or 2009. So that's pretty cool. This very well could be the first version of VirtualBox that I've ever used. But of course, this is only half of the battle, and that was very easy, getting it to install. Now we're going to actually see if we can install Windows Me inside of VirtualBox, which is already inside of a VM, which is already inside of another VM. So it's like, yeah, this is going to be pretty cool if we can actually get this to work. So again, just to be safe, we're going to copy the ISO file over to the desktop so that the VM has a local copy of it. And in the meantime, we're going to create a new VM. So we're going to go through this wizard here. We're going to call this Windows Me, and it should, I guess this version doesn't automatically populate based on the name of the VM. So we're going to choose Windows Me here, and yeah, basically what we're going to try to do is kind of go down the line here. So we're going to go Me, and then inside of the Me VM, we're going to install 98, and then 95, and then 3.1, and just see how far that we can actually go. My guess is that's not going to be very far, but we will see. We're going to double this to 128 megabytes just to, be safe. Might as well give it some more RAM. We're going to create a new hard disk. It wants to create a 4 gig hard drive. We will make this a dynamically expanding. Again, let's just bump this up a little bit to 8 gigs. I believe that is the maximum. Oh, this is when you had to add GB to the end. 8.0 GB. There we go. Yeah, because you would literally create a 4 megabyte hard drive if you wanted to. So we're going to change that to 8 gigabytes just to, give it a little bit of extra space. Again, just to be safe. It's not like we really need that, but, just to be safe. We're going to hit finish here. Everything looks good. We're going to hit finish once again. And here we go. We have our new virtual machine with all of our specifications over here. And now we're going to go into settings, and we're going to, tell it where to look for the ISO file. So we're going to go down to storage. I'm going to go to the empty DVD drive here, and we're going to add the image which is on the desktop right here. We're going to hit select, and there we go. So we'll hit OK. And oh, it was saying non-optimal settings detected. I saw that very briefly down here. On the system page, you've assigned more than 50% of your computer's memory. Oh, that's interesting. So this VM only has 255 megabytes of memory. So actually, can we increase that? I wonder if we can increase that from here, because that is actually not ideal. So we definitely want this to have more. Okay, I think we can. Yeah, so at least it will allow us to change. Let's go ahead and just do that really quickly here. We'll go ahead. Oh, I don't even know if we can shut it down though. Oh, that's the thing, because you can't. I mean, you literally, and this is something that I don't even think I mentioned in that previous video, but there is literally no shutdown option in the start menu. There's only log off, and you can only, when you close out of this by hitting this X up here, it actually puts the virtual machine into hibernation, so it doesn't actually shut it down completely. So I actually don't know how we're actually going to increase the RAM. Because it says that you need to, have the virtual machine powered off. So let's go ahead and just, have it hibernate here. And then we're going to kill the process from Task Manager. That's my only, way of doing this that I can think of. So we will, oh, that's VMware Tools. Okay, Virtual PC. We're going to end that process. And then we should be able to go into, because there's no this is the other kind of weird thing about this, Windows Virtual PC that's in Windows 7, is there's no Virtual PC console. You only have, I believe it's actually under users and then your username. You have this folder called virtual machines, and then in here you have XP mode. And I guess we can go settings here. So yeah, your only way is actually from going into settings here, and it still is thinking that it's not shut down. It still says that it's hibernated right here. Okay, so I found another solution, and that is actually by opening up. Let's go see users, and then we got to go into app data, and then I believe this is the file right here. We're going to go ahead and open this with. So we're going to open it with Notepad. And we should be able to, right here under this RAM size tag here, we're going to change that to 1024, which is 1 gigabyte. Save that, close out of it, and now when we go into, that was again under our libraries, go to app data, virtual machines, we run this again, it should, there we go, so now it's actually giving. Oh, maybe did I only give this 1 gig of RAM? Okay, I think it just actually set it back to 256 megabytes for us because it couldn't run. So that is interesting. I guess it just automatically edited that file, which kind of sucks. But, okay, so I'm not going to worry about memory at the moment because Windows Me doesn't need, 256 megs of RAM or even 128 megs of RAM to run properly. So we're just going to not worry about that for now. So now we can actually start the machine and hit OK, and there we go. We're now booted into MS-DOS, and now we're going to, first of all, get rid of these annoying pop-ups that VirtualBox does every time that you click into the VM, and we're going to run fdisk. We're going to hit yes to use maximum available size. We're going to create a new DOS partition, make it primary. Okay, so it asks us to restart, so we're going to do that right now. And yeah, you can see that it's kind of lagging behind a little bit there. And now we should be able to format the C, not CL, format C colon. We're going to press yes, and now it is going to format the 8 gigabytes of hard drive space. So it was actually able to, find the full 8 gigs, which is good. We're not going to give it a volume label. And I believe the drive was R. And so yes, this is the setup drive, or, the setup ISO image, or the CD. We're going to go ahead and run setup and let it run scan disk. And yeah, this, I'm pretty sure that we won't have an issue with, Windows Me here, installing Windows Me inside of XP mode. I think where we will start to experience issues is trying to get another virtual machine software installed inside of this one, and then try to install another virtual machine. I think we're going to start to experience problems there because we only have 64 megs of RAM on this VM, but we're going to go ahead and just go through the setup process here and worry about that later on. And you can already see, I mean, check this out, I'm moving the mouse around, it is definitely lagging behind. It is having some trouble keeping up here. So we're going to accept the agreement. I just pressed Alt-A because, this is definitely getting annoying with this mouse here. Yeah, it's like literally, I can't even see Okay, there we go. I think we got the cursor back. For some reason, it thinks that I'm highlighting the EULA, which I'm not doing. Now we can press Alt here and get out of the VM, and you can see that. I mean, but even look at this. Like this is lagging here already. So I'm gonna have to take that back. We might actually not be able to install Windows Me inside of here at all. But look, I mean, it still thinks that I'm scrolling through this license agreement. I don't know what's up. I'm gonna press Alt A. That should. There we go, and press next, or press enter. I'm just going to try to use the keyboard. We're going to install, you know, Windows Me to the C Windows directory. And you can see here that I have to press the left Alt key, or is it the right Alt key? It's you have to press the right Control key to get the mouse out of this VM here. But I do want to kind of resize the window. But I mean, you can see that even XP is definitely lagging behind a little bit. It's definitely having some trouble keeping up. So yeah, that is not a good sign, but we're just going to roll with it. We're going to go with the actually, let's just do typical. I'm not going to bother trying to install like every single component because I do want to keep this installation a little bit light. Actually, now that I say that, okay, forget it. I'm not going to try to go back because this mouse is all completely screwed up. We're just going to call this MEVM, or MEVM, and not Mew. We're not going to go with the Mew here. We're not going to make this a Pokemon themed video. So yeah, the username is going to be MEVM. We're going to install the most common components. And yeah, that looks good. United States. I'm not going to bother changing like the time zone or anything. We're just going to roll with what it has. So now we're going to copy files. We'll hit finish here. And you can see on the side there, it says it's going to take 27 minutes, and that may actually be the case. Alright, so we're back, and I have done a couple of things to kind of improve the usability of this virtual machine. The first thing I did was I actually gave the Windows 7 VM that I'm here running on my host computer, I upped the RAM from 2 gigs to 4 gigs, and then I was able to allocate 1 gigabyte to the XP VM. Because the XP VM was lagging, which was causing the Windows Me VM to lag, or it might have been vice versa. But either way, I literally had like trouble using, you know, this like whole thing. And then the Windows 7 VM started to really lag behind and become unresponsive. So, we're back. It's actually a day later since that previous clip, but you guys probably haven't really noticed that, although you can probably tell by the actual date down here that yes, it is November now when I'm actually making this video. But you can see that the Windows Me VM here says that it is now ready to restart your computer, remove all disks from the floppy disk drives, and click OK to restart. We already have that taken care of, so we're going to go ahead and press OK here. And again, we are kind of having that like mouse issue where I can't really see the mouse, but the XP VM is, you know, totally responsive, at least, well, okay, let me not say totally responsive. It is more responsive than it was before, but the Windows Me VM is definitely still having a little bit of, you know, trouble here keeping up. One thing that we can do now, though, is since we have 1 gig of RAM on the XP machine, we should now be able to up this RAM from 64 megabytes and hopefully give it a little more something to work with. So I'm going to see if I can move the mouse up here and press OK. There we go. For some reason, there's 2 of these boxes up here. I don't know what that's about. I think that's probably just a glitch. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we're going to restart now. And there we go. We are now restarting. So that is definitely a good sign. And here we go. We're booting Windows Me. It definitely seems to be working in this VM here. Now, you can see that the XP VM is definitely lagging just a little bit when I'm moving this window around here. But I can go ahead and show you that actually, let me see if this actually did, if the RAM change that I gave this thing actually took effect. And yeah, so Windows Me still has some other stuff to do. So it's got 18 minutes left, and now it's actually going to start installing the drivers. And yeah, for some reason, the XP VM has actually not, so just take that back, or I'm going to have to take that back when I said, it still has 256 megs of RAM. Now, I went ahead and increased it. I guess I just set it back. And you guys, like, I talked very briefly in this video of how that I actually did this, which was through editing that text file. And you see I put 1024. This was 256 megabytes. I wonder if, like, we have to edit this file right here. This is virtual machine, what do we have here? Virtual machine saved state and VPC backup file. So what we might have to do is delete this saved state, but I'm wondering if that would like literally you know, affect what we're doing here, like this installation. I'm gonna probably have to wait on that, but I definitely do want to increase the memory, and I guess for some reason, since it's hibernated, it's not actually allowing it to restart. That is one thing that I'm finding about XP mode that is very annoying, is you literally you can't like shut the virtual machine down. You can only hibernate or put it into hibernation, and that's good for, I guess, the integration with Windows 7, because you can very easily like launch programs, and it's, you know, that's probably why that Microsoft kind of integrated it that way. Alright, so we're back and the installation is almost finished. You can see that the estimated time has gone down from like, what was it, 20 minutes or 15 minutes. It's now down to 3 minutes, and we're currently on the last phase of installing components right here. You can see down here at the bottom that system configuration is the very last step, and check that out, the mouse is actually way more responsive now, which is awesome. So that is definitely a very good sign. Alright, so the system is ready to restart, so we're going to go ahead and hit restart now. Okay, well, we got an error right here, a blue screen of death. This is, there's a problem with the system file. Windows might not be able to run correctly. You might be able to fix this problem by running system restore. So that is definitely not a good sign. VXD dynamic link call VFAT. Yeah, definitely doesn't sound good. We're going to just continue loading Windows and see if, oh, there's another error. And there's another error, and let's see if it actually runs. Okay, so I think it's actually, oh wait, never mind. It's okay, so we're going to press enter once again to see if it can recover. So it doesn't actually say, oh wait, there it is. So the same VMM file is causing a problem. But the machine actually boots up. You can see that we can actually get to the login prompt here. We're going to just go ahead and press OK to log in. And it's going to do the same thing. So we'll just press enter to see if we can get past this, which yeah, definitely doesn't look good, but we'll see if it will be able to update the system settings here. Alright, so we are back, and you can probably notice that the virtual machine here is actually continuing with all of its regular startup procedures, and you know, this is the first boot process, so it has to do things like update the driver database, you know, update system settings, and just go through all of its, you know, little things that it has to do to, you know, properly get the system configured for you to actually use it. We did get all of those BSODs before I was able to just press yes and, you know, skip past them and just allow the system to keep working, and it seems like that has actually worked. But one thing that is kind of unfortunate that I've been you know, discovering as I've been doing some research here is the 3 different virtual machine softwares that I was going to try to run inside of this VM here. That would be VMware Player, VirtualBox, and Virtual PC. All actually do not support Windows ME. Even the earliest version that I was able to find, they support like a Windows 2000. That's like the earliest OS that they support, and that actually makes a lot of sense because Windows 2000 is an NT based operating system. Windows ME is based on the 9X kernel, which obviously is a bit of an older, you know, framework to base an operating system on. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to continue on and try to install another virtual machine inside of this one. Or at least we might revisit that in a later video. But my goal for this video right now is just to get this VM installed and up and running, and then what we're going to try to do is something that I actually think is going to be pretty cool. You guys may remember in my earlier video on Windows XP mode, I kind of mentioned the integration between Windows 7 and Windows XP mode, and just kind of how that actually works, where you're able to actually run some programs right from the start menu. You're able to run these Windows XP programs because they actually populate in this Windows XP mode applications folder, and you can see that VirtualBox is now actually populated in here. Is there any real point of doing that? No, because you could just install Windows ME inside of Virtual PC or VMware or VirtualBox or whatever software that you want to use on the Windows 7 VM here natively. But again, we're just going to try it out here and see, you know, how it works. But in the meantime, we're going to allow Windows ME here to finish setting up. It looks like it's doing something. Oh, and check that out. So here we go. We actually are on the desktop right now. You can see we're in a very low color mode here. All of the colors definitely aren't as detailed as they normally are, but that's just because we don't have the proper drivers installed. But we can very easily change the wallpaper to something else if we want to, because all of them are here. So we'll go ahead and just select the Windows Millennium wallpaper, and we'll go ahead and press OK. And this is yeah, we'll go ahead and enable active desktop, why not? This is going to show up in like a super low resolution, as you can see here. Yeah, check this out. So this is definitely not the most ideal way to run Windows ME. That is a given. But before that we actually end off of this video here, I want to go ahead and actually try out running Windows ME from you know, just the Windows 7 environment natively. So we're going to go ahead and actually just shut this virtual machine down. Actually, let's go ahead and leave it open, just to kind of try something out here. Then we're going to go ahead and close out of Windows XP mode, which will have it hibernate the virtual machine. And then we can go into the Start menu, into All Programs, Windows Virtual PC, Applications, Sun VirtualBox, and then Run VirtualBox right here. And there we go, it is starting the virtual application. So, and this was also something that somebody mentioned to me as well in the comments, is you might be able to notice this pop-up right here where it says your computer might be at risk, antivirus software might not be installed. That is actually an XP pop-up, but it's saying remote here because I guess that's just kind of the way that you know, these pop-up messages show up. But this is something that would be showing up in XP mode right now, but because again that we're, you know, running this application through the sort of integration feature that Windows XP mode has for Windows 7, it just kind of displays it like a regular Windows 7 pop-up, which is actually kind of nice. So let's go ahead and just start the virtual machine here. And I wonder if it'll save the session since we actually closed it out, which I can already say, like, this is actually, oh, I was just going to say it was running a lot smoother, because it definitely seemed that way, but you can see that it is still definitely having a bit of trouble keeping up here. We'll go ahead and just minimize the virtual PC console, and we're going to skip scan disk because I don't want it to, you know, scan the hard drive because we don't really need it to. And we're going to go ahead and just log in here. And there we go. So we now actually have the VM running right here, which is pretty cool. It's gonna, you know, come with that wallpaper again, which is again in such a very low resolution, but it is still here. So that's nice. But you can see that this definitely is, as I was saying before, not the most ideal way to use Windows ME. We can still go in here and, you know, browse all of the applications. We can run programs like, let's go and just run MS Paint here if we want to. And, you know, we can draw things, we can, you know, type text here. It's obviously going to work just as you would expect it to, but the thing is it's just going to be very, very laggy because we're literally going through 2 virtualization layers to, you know, accomplish this, which is cutting down the amount of memory that the machine actually has. Because again, this VM here only has 64 megs of RAM, and I can't really increase it because the XP VM that it's running under only has 256 megs of RAM, and then this Windows 7 VM has 4 gigs of RAM. So this is definitely like a virtual machine-ception, and but it definitely does answer the question: can you run Windows ME inside of Windows XP, inside of Windows 7, inside of Windows 10? Yes, you can. Is it the most ideal way to run Windows ME or to run a virtual machine in general? No. But this is a proof of concept that you can actually do this and kind of go through all of these, you know, different virtual machine layers. But as for now, guys, I just want to go ahead and thank you all so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this one, definitely sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to get subscribed down below and turn on those channel notifications if you haven't already to get notified whenever that I upload a new video on this channel, which I do every single week. And as always, guys, I will see you all in the next video.